Thank you for watching. Unfortunately, another shooting. It's like just another day, another shooting. Um, Everyone is sick and tired of, having African Americans shot every other day almost. Just as we had the verdict from the Chauvin trial, we thought, okay, we got some justice here, maybe things are going to improve, but no such luck. So, the latest shooting, the Andrew Brown Jr. shooting in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, you could tell something is going on there, right? Someone is trying to cover themselves, cover their asses. Why would they not release a video longer than 20 seconds? So we know it's BS. And, two of the officers, as far as I could recall, two of the officers, one of them retired, two of them resigned. So you could tell some kind of cover-up is going on in Elizabeth City there in North Carolina. So no one is that stupid. We know. People know, regardless of what they know. The thing is, they're all thinking, the police department there or those involved there are thinking they'll get away with it. Just another shooting, and they'll put the lawyers out in the front. Maybe they'll go to trial. Put out another $5-10 million. They don't really care. You could tell. To me, it's pretty obvious now that a lot of these militia types, right, that got themselves recruited into the not just the military, all branches of the military, most of the police departments in the nation, okay, and they're basically intent on killing African Americans, basically with very little cause. Okay, I can assure you, those who shot at Andrew Brown Jr., if they saw there was someone that looked like them or could have been their cousin, I can assure you, none of them would have shot a single bullet into that vehicle. Here's a person trying to get away, right? Andrew Brown's trying to get away. He's trying to leave. He had his hands on the steering wheel. He's trying to get away. What is the reason for shooting this individual except to just shoot him and kill him? And then there's a shot at the back of his head. 4 shots, I think 2 or 3 shots on the side of his arm. Okay, on his right arm. When we're looking at these cases, we know what this is. Right after Derek Chauvin trial, we said, okay, we got a guilty verdict here. Something's going to change. Maybe we'll start getting a little more justice here. No such luck. But this is what I've been saying. We're going about this the wrong way. Most Americans, especially those. Now I'm speaking to those who organize these marches and get out there on the street and go out there and try to get everyone's attention that this was an unjust shooting and we need some justice. And it's great. It's all great. But I can assure you one thing, nothing will get done. Nothing. Zero. If anything, marching on the streets, okay, this is what the marching on the street does, right? When you get out there, start marching, and I looked at this very closely, okay? And I'm going to say it like it is, consider sarcasm, whatever. It doesn't matter. The thing is, I'm trying to help. Now, here's how I look at this marches that happen right after a shooting. Nothing gets done. You know why? Because you all go to the police departments, you stand there with the signs and everything, right? And they're counting on that. They're counting on that you're going to show up at the police departments and they can mace you. They got their gear on, right? Ready to break some arms and legs and mace as many people as they can, right? Because they're counting on that. Here's what I say that, here's what I'm going to say to this. It's going to get absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing will get done. I can assure you of that, okay? Why? Here's why I say that. Because every time there is a shooting, people get out there and march, right? And guess what happens? national media starts to cover it. CNN, NBC, Fox, CNBC, the whole networks, all the network channels start covering it. Guess what happens to them? Now, here's something that you all need to think about. Here's what happens. Their ratings go up. They start to make more money. Are you getting the drift? So here's what my suggestion is. If the American people, those of us who are sick and tired of being sick and tired, here's what I'd like you to do. And here's what you need to think about. You need to go out there. You can still do your marches. God bless you. You want to be out there in the heat and the sun and get maced? God bless you for that. And I applaud your efforts there. But if you really want the change, and I mean really want the change, here's what you're going to need to do. Most of the African, and I'm speaking strictly to African American community, the Latino community, the Asian community, this is what you need to do. You need to simply look at the situations, okay, and say, nothing is getting done. We go out there, we do our little marches, right? We get beat up, we get maced, we get some attention, but guess what happens? Guess what happens? That thing gets broadcasted on national television, and those guys love that. They absolutely love, they adore that. They are hoping for another shooting pretty soon. They may not say that, and they'll make it look like, oh yeah, oh, another shooting, oh, we need some information, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Trust me. Just trust me on this. I'm an independent person. I'm going to say things here on L.N.G that most people probably wouldn't say, and maybe there's some other saying exactly what I might be saying. I don't know. I don't watch the online media very much. Let me get back to my point. Nothing is going to get done when you're walking out there marching and getting beat up and getting maced, and they're throwing all kinds of tear gas and mace and all sorts of things. So my point is, if there is nothing getting done, what is the point going out there doing that every single time there's a shooting? So here's what you all need to do, and here's what we all, including all of us, those of us who are sick and tired of shooting after shooting after shooting, right? We simply need to start targeting those who really can make a difference. And I'll tell you who those are, okay? Those are not people. Those are corporations. So if you understand what I'm trying to say, you'll eventually, after you let it settle in, you're going to understand that this man is making sense. Here's what my point is. When there is a shooting, stop buying things. Stop spending your money. You can go out there and march and do all that stuff. That's fine. But it's going to get absolutely nothing done. You really want to see change? Stop buying the garbage that you're buying out there. And I'm speaking to everyone, including myself. They go out there, click stuff on Amazon, all kinds of places, and buy the junk that we buy. Okay, I'm guilty of it too. I buy all kinds of electronics, this and that from Amazon, all kinds of places. And there you go again. I'm advertising for Amazon. Okay, so here's my point. The point is, what we need to do is start looking at this situation from a different point of view. Once you see a method is not working, it's insanity to continue doing that and expect some sort of a result out of it. Nothing is going to happen. I can assure you. Legislators are going to do nothing. Okay? Corporations, the city councilors are going to do nothing. Okay? The federal government is going to do nothing. They're just going to do some investigation through DOJ and that's it. And then what would happen? The lawsuits, they'll put out some money because there is money in the funds. Every city has it, okay? They're going to put out the 10, 20, 30 million dollars, whatever it is in every year. And they can count on the taxpayers re-putting that money back into the treasury. They could care less. They could give a damn whether someone is being sued or the city is being sued or not, because there's going to be, the taxpayers are going to give that money back. Okay, so you get my point on that. Here's what I'm saying. So seriously start looking at your practices. If everyone listened to what I'm just saying, share this video with others, okay? And I'm saying share it for the sake of all these individuals getting killed, especially African American males getting shot and killed with very little reason. Okay, very little. The 13-year-old got shot in Chicago, and now this, right? And we just got done with the other one, Mr. Wright, that was shot for having an expired tag, okay, by an experienced, trained officer, a veteran, shot him, and she's making it look like, yeah, this was a taser. Maybe she thought it was a taser. I don't know. Give her the benefit of the doubt. The thing is, the court will decide that now, whether it was she meant to or not, and I'll leave it up to the jury. But going back to my original point there, nothing is going to get done as long as you and I are going out there doing the marches. Nothing will get done. So what would actually end up, we'll end up seeing some results from when the corporations start seeing, and I mean corporations across the board they start seeing their bottom line drop every time there is a shooting. I can assure you policies are going to change very quickly. Mark my words, they are going to change very quickly. So now that applies to everything. That applies to everything. That applies to healthcare. Stop supporting, we can't get our national healthcare or some kind of a system that gives healthcare to majority of the Americans. Well, start boycotting the products. Start boycotting the drug companies. Start boycotting some of these other corporations that are promoting, this no national health care. Okay, start boycotting them. Every time and then once they start seeing that their bottom line is affected every time there's a shooting, or in case with no health care, or student loan crisis, when the corporations start seeing that their bottom line is affected, I assure you we're going to get policies done. They're going to, I don't care whether they're Republican, Democrat, Independent, Socialist, Communist, I don't care who they are. They will get our policies done. Things that we need. We need a justice system that looks at everyone equally. Okay, they shoot to kill and then ask questions later is frankly getting extremely, extremely dangerous for the nation. We could cause a huge problem in society. And I'm not saying there could be some civil war could break out. I'm not saying anything like that. But, things could get worse. Things could get worse. Okay? So when we're looking at the way things are, the status quo is not working. It is not working. We need to rethink this thing as Americans and say, okay, if it's not working, what is the best approach? The next best approach is to hurt the pocketbook. And where's the pocketbook? Whose pocketbook? Not the legislators, not the policymakers. They're getting their funding from the corporations. Absolutely. So if you start targeting those, if you would like to target a legislator, look and see who is funding him and target those. And that's how you get something done. Nationally, I'm talking about locally and nationally. If we are going to do this thing in a proper way, we'll get the results. But the way it's going right now, absolutely nothing will happen. Once again now, with Andrew Brown Jr., Elizabeth City, people are out there protesting. God bless you all out there with the signs and all the T-shirts and, spending hours and hours out there. And then there might be, the city might put curfew out there, and then everyone will break the curfew, and, a bunch of people will get beat up and get maced, and some might, even get hurt during all this protests. So when you're thinking the way I'm thinking, and you start thinking that way, then you realize that, look, this man may be right. Nothing is happening, so what's the point in going out there doing all these marches? There is no point in it. If you really want to make a difference, no matter what it is, I don't care if it's the shooting of African American male or something else, Asian Americans that were being targeted. They were being targeted just a few weeks ago, and they're still being targeted, right? Simply find out the corporations, okay, that are responsible for certain, if it's a state like North Carolina, find out who's supporting all the legislators there. Boycott them. And you'll see very quickly things will start to change, statewide and nationally. Nothing is going to happen if we continue on the status quo. I assure you, the national media loves it. Every time there's a shooting, they will never admit that. Why would they admit that? They're making more money every time there's a shooting. Why would they admit that? They're not stupid. They're not going to tell you, oh, our bottom line goes up. Okay? What if the GE the CEO of GE, when Trump ran, what did he say? He said, Trump may be bad for the nation, but he's certainly good for business. Are you getting my drift? They don't really care. CNN, NBC, CNBC, Fox, they're all the same. All the same. None of them. If you watch CNN for half an hour, you get bombarded by 20 drug commercials. Do you see why we can't get any national health care done? Precisely because they're bombarding people with drug commercials, and the media is also complacent in it. They are complacent in it. Now all of a sudden I'm in independent media and I have a pharmaceutical supporting me all of a sudden. I'm going to say things that are pretty, much in favor of that pharmaceutical company or pharmaceutical companies, period. So this is my point. I'm going to say this because no one has bought me on this channel. We're an independent channel, and I'm going to continue being independent. Okay, this is going to be supported by you, the public, at some point, and we're going to, when we get to that stage, we're just restarting after a few years of lapse there. So my point is, if we want to see some serious change, we are going to have to start targeting those corporations. Okay, and I mean in general. Okay, a lot of these multinational corporations do not pay any federal taxes. Okay, they don't pay any federal taxes. They could care less about our bridges and roads and streets but they certainly like the benefits of them, right? They like their employees to travel on those nice little highways and get to work on time. Am I right? Oh yeah. You want to, the airports are falling apart. They didn't care. Why would they care? There is no care. There's no care there. So once again, I am saying it like it is. I know it's going to come across like, to someone it's like a different kind of a measure there that may not get any results. But those of us who understand politics, and those of us who follow it very closely, those of us who follow the media, and I'm one of those who follow the media very closely, I understand it really well. I understand how the rating system works. I understand how the system, period, works. Whether it's political, whether it's the media, whether it's the federal government, state government, I understand. I study everything, every little thing. There is nothing I don't study. So here's my point. You want to get something done. There's a mass shooting, stop buying. Put less gas. Don't go to the gas station one day. Okay? Don't support ExxonMobil that day. Okay? If there is you figure out certain legislators who are passing certain bills, find out who those corporations are, start blocking them. Start boycotting them. Okay? When they start hurting in their pocketbooks, I assure you, we will start seeing policies that are favorable to the public, okay, in a very short amount of time. So once again, we have a shooting there in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Andrew Brown was shot while he was trying to leave the scene. Once again, okay? You remember Dante Wright, same thing. He's trying to leave the scene. He's worried. He doesn't know what's going to happen to him. And look at what they did. They shot him 5 times. Look at what they did in this case. In Andrew Brown's case, Andrew Brown Jr.'s case, they shot him 5 times. Not with an intention to hurt him. They wanted to make sure he was dead. right? That's just the way. Look, why would you not just shoot his tires out? Shoot at his engine block. But no, sir, you want to target the person there. So these few rotten apples out there are basically, intent on hurting African Americans, and you can tell that a lot of them have that kind of an vendetta there. When we look at Derek Chauvin's expressions while he had his knee on George Floyd's knee on his neck, not one time, that thought crossed his head. What if this guy dies under my knee? Never crossed him. You know why? Because he saw that person on the ground as the other. He didn't see him like a relative or a friend or a cousin or somebody he hangs out with in a bar. So this kind of garbage is going to continue going on. Okay, there's rotten apples. Many that join the police forces are decent people, but there is an element of rotten apples in the last decade or two that have gotten in there, and I'm pretty sure they're with the far-right militia groups, right? They said they figured out a legal way to go out there and kill people that they didn't like, simply. Okay, so this is how I am looking at it. Want some change? Don't go marching on the street. Nothing's going to happen. Hurt them in the pocketbook. Start targeting corporations that are responsible, that are supporting policymakers, that are supporting legislators locally, nationally. Okay, look at those individuals that are making policies on your state's behalf and are being funded by certain corporations that are promoting it. So if we want criminal justice reform, we're going to have to look at those who are actually promoting it. We're going to have to look at those, or let me rephrase that. Possibly not promoting it, but are certainly complacent. Certainly complacent. They're absolutely looking the other way. And they could care less because, see, every time there's a shooting, CNN is going to be on there 24/7. They're going to carry that the next 3 cycles. And guess what happens to their ratings? Goes up. Nielsen rating goes up. Nielsen, they look at their Nielsen rating and they say, wow, we went up every time there's a shooting. Please, Lord, if there's another shooting, we got to get to it right away. But nothing's going to get done. They're not helping anything. The mass media is not helping anything. If they truly wanted to help us, I mean the American people, right? They would not have drug commercials on their channels. They would not have pharmaceuticals, knowing that we need, the nation is desperate for a healthcare system, some kind of a nationalized system, so everyone, 50, 80 million people could have healthcare. But see, they continue to let those drug companies pay their bills. Now, what happens from that? Those drug companies are not for any kind of a national health care because they get to sell their little pill that costs them maybe not even a nickel for $250. They get to sell that insulin for $800. You see, are you getting my drift? So, mark my words, nothing is going to get done till you hurt them in the pocketbooks, and I think I stated that point very well. So here's what we're going to have to do. Okay, marching is great. You can go out there and march, and God bless all of you that do that. Okay, but there's another way to really get some change. In the near future, if we approach this a little different way. Simply look at the corporations supporting the legislators and supporting the people, those who are involved, in charge, and basically start targeting them. Target them across the board. Why not? When they get something done, well, can go back to them. I'm not saying go out there and target someone for good. All I'm saying is once something gets done, we go back to them. We could have this love and hate relationship with the corporations. We need them. We need their lousy products, right? I'm admitting it. We need their products. We can't live without it. So most of the brick and mortars are going away. Now we're stuck with Amazon and a few other companies out there, and Amazon doesn't pay any federal taxes. But look, we still go out there and buy things from him, right? Jeff Bezos don't give a damn. He's got 60, 80 million to his billion to his name, or even after all the things that he's gone through with his divorce, this, that, and all the pandemic. The pandemic, his business went up. Why? Because people are at home, they start ordering things, okay, including myself. So my point is, let's look at our approach and say we need to change our approach a little bit, change our methods a little bit, look at things a little bit more philosophically rather than go out there and protest and get hurt. And they're, I assure you, they're counting on that. They're counting on that. They're counting on people coming up to the police department, for those police stations, and protesting there so they can gas you all. They can mace you all, right? And use their batons and break some bones. So no, they could care less. Nothing's going to change. You could see that the most of the police forces are becoming more and more militarized. Why is it that's happening? Because they're counting on more and more violence because of their behavior. They know that. They know their behavior is out of control. And part of them want that. They want to put that kind of pressure. But then it is a system overall, is what my point is. And the system is mostly controlled by the corporations. I think everyone is getting my drift. You want to get something done? Look at who those are, those in power, corporations that are supplying the funding, and we can get something done. I think I should leave it at that. It's very unfortunate that Andrew Brown Jr. was shot the way he was shot. My heart goes out to his family. Okay, no one deserved to die like that. You're trying to, I don't care what crime he was committing. If there was some drug-related offense or something, for drug-related offenses, we're going to start shooting people now? Shooting them to death? And here we're legalizing the marijuana in a bunch of states. We're shooting them. What if he had something in his pocket? And then for a whole week, right? Nothing. Complete blackout. They're not releasing anything. And then the family attorneys are getting the autopsy report, the death report, and you can clearly see the shot in the back of the head, a bunch of them on the arm. How do you know who this man is? You're shooting at him. Fine. Maybe there was an investigation. Maybe you're tracking him. You're tracking him for drugs. Not for espionage. He wasn't doing, for drugs. So it's some kind of offense. It's not a capital offense. Why should, and then you all are not executioners. Why are you acting like executioners? There is no reason for the police forces to act like executioners. You're not allowed to do this to the public. And then the public is being very stupid and not realizing that we every time you go out there with an incident, go in march, nothing is getting done and nothing will get done. I can promise you this, unless you listen to what I'm saying. So share this video, okay? I don't care whether you like it or not. Share this lousy video. That way people can see what it is that I'm saying. Does that make sense or not? Okay? Your approach is not working. Or try my approach. Okay? And I'm saying this in all fairness to everyone. I am not anti-corporation. I'm not anti-system. I'm not trying to promote any kind of anarchy in the society. What I am saying is that if we need to get something done, we got to confront those who are actually in power and putting people in power that are making our policies, and those are the corporations. Let me leave it at that, and I will see you in the next video. And my heart goes out to the Andrew Brown Jr. family, and hope we get justice for that. So thank you for watching. See you in the next video.